Hello, and welcome to the Steve and Mark Discuss podcast, where Steve will table a subject, I will listen and respond. Over to Steve.
Hi, people. Vitaly Hubertus, 53 years old, vice president of Lukoil, which is a company, a Russian oil company. He was found hanged dead in his bathroom this week. He's the fifth executive of the company to die in suspicious circumstances since the beginning of the Ukraine war. The fifth executive, like I said, it's a little bit like looking at the Clintons' diary, if you know what that means.
Yes.
Okay. Law enforcement leaks said he was being persecuted and felt he was being set up to face criminal charges amid bitter feuding at the top of the company.
Yeah.
Between the execs at the top of the company. He had held a meeting with his boss, Oleg Pashayev, a senior vice president for sales and supply, and then returned to his office. Hours later, Pashayev went looking for Robertus after he wasn't answered. He wasn't answering his calls. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And in November, prior to Robertus, Vladimir Lebedev died suddenly in an unexplained tragedy, as the news articles said. So, are they all related? Are they all... We were talking in another podcast about the mafia, how people tend to fall off balconies or eat something really that does not agree with their digestive system, or are quite simply found hanged.
Yes.
So are all these deaths linked? If so, who done it, where, and with what? So let you.
Yeah.
A lot of these people who died, by the way, were friends of Vladimir Putin. Just to, of course, they would be. Because at the top end of Lukoil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Acquaintances or known to him, or right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think the butler did it in the library with the crowbar.
Yeah.
It's a very medieval way of going on. I mean, we now know that obviously there's going to be suspicions. Does anyone in Russia really care? Not really. I mean, the thing is, I think there was a person who immigrated from Russia when they're quite young to the UK, a comedian called his name. He's another podcaster who described Russian society. When you are an oligarch or senior person in Russia, you don't actually own that position. It's granted to you. So it's still quite a medieval court system, which, whether you like it or not, probably works for in Russian society. It's how the Russians behave.
If that's how they behave, then that's how it is. It's their culture.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah, and they know the rules. I'm not saying it's right. None of us like the notion of dictatorship, but I mean, let's call it Russia what it is. It's not quite a dictatorship, but it's it's probably more open than the dictatorships we live in now. Did I say something? It's
that's for another podcast. I was going to do another subject on this podcast.
Yeah.
However, at the last minute, I decided not to because I saw this story today.
Yeah, but it's other things going on. Probably. I mean, it is very, very, as you said in a previous podcast, the guy called Steve Bannon says there's no such thing as conspiracies, only a lot of events that could appear to be linked to each other.
Coincidences,
Incidences. I think, yes, it's suspicious. It's what goes on behind it. There does seem to be a lot of people who have suicidal tendencies in the world at the moment for some reason, or committing suicide, which is a bit odd. Everywhere.
Yeah, but those people are normally trans.
not all of them. I mean, no, I mean, yeah,
Not quite a lot of them are. Quite a lot of them.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a it. I don't. I think
Must be a
yes.
trait.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, no. These people in these senior positions, they're not suicidal. They're power hungry. They have to be, and they understand. They understand the game. They understand the politics. They cease being useful to someone at some point for whatever reasons, or they're being told to behave in a certain way and not behaving. We all know how it works. It is a gangster type way of going on.
It's just like being married.
What do you mean? I can do what I want, when I want, and how I want, providing she agrees.
Yeah.
Uh,
With her permission.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. I only ask my wife's permission out of courtesy. Yeah. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. I remember years ago, Hollywood used to make films about all these things. They seem to have stopped now for some reason. Wonder why. Too close to reality, possibly. Yeah, you know what I'm talking
or
about.
rather, or real life is taking them over.
I mean, yeah, medieval times, there were things that were always happening. As I said, it's positively medieval. People accidentally used to fall on steel pokers up their rectums and things like this, you know. These unfortunate things.
Well, many a bloke has gone to hospital with things, which perhaps so accidents do happen. Apparently,
yeah.
Especially with light bulbs and Coca-Cola bottles.
Yeah, I heard of one incident actually quite close to me, that one guy went up there with a certain implement, and the discussion was, do they turn it off before extracting it or leave it switched on?
Yeah.
But yes, yeah. Me personally, I don't like any objects being inserted in me at all. I didn't like the jab being inserted in me, so I object to anything being inserted in me for any reason.
Be careful what you're saying there, man.
Yes, I don't like anything going into me, any foreign objects being put into me. So
other than eating, of course, sir.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's kind of designed for it, I'll be careful before I do like that. But yes, yes, I think they're connected, or not connected. Probably not directly connected. Let's put it this way: people are not playing the correct game, therefore they have to be taken out of the game, as it were. And it's now beginning to sound a bit like an episode of The Sopranos, which is always a good TV program, and quite close to reality, I believe. Although you do wonder, is there any Italians left in America when you watch that program? Yeah, okay. The Russians have a way of going on. They have a system that is there. You're at the top of a Russian society at somebody else's approval, whomever that may be. There's not just one man operating at the top in Russia. There are others around people. Yeah.
Same as any country.
Yeah. And let's be honest, we're seeing what's happening in the UK with certain politicians who are, let's put it this way, going a bit outside the established narrative. Yeah. And people lower down society. Yeah. These people aren't foolish or stupid. They know. We haven't quite, in the UK yet, had the ultimate tragedy. It's possibly coming. It's happened in the US, as we all know. Yes, somebody definitely. Oh yeah, I mean, was that just a madman, or was the thing? I mean, our local MP as well, who was unfortunately murdered. Very good local politician. Excellent, actually. A bit eccentric to some people, and he could be quite vicious, but he had no aspirations to move to the top, which might not actually fit in some people's ideals as well. But yeah, I don't think Jo Cox was killed by anything. It's an unfortunate incident. She was killed by a crazy guy, and she was a very good local politician. I might not agree with everything that she stood for, but apparently she did pride herself on being a good local politician for everyone. So that's the sad fact about it. Bad things happen to good people. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, in that case, I'm going to be scared to go out my front door now.
Well, I mean,
if bad things happen to good people.
Well, my halo is just off the top of the camera, I'm afraid. Sorry.
Yeah, you can see. You can see.
Yeah,
it's shining right in my face.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Can see it. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, the halo. Yeah, that's mine, by the way.
Can you
that's
turn it down?
To do with Steve.
Can you turn it down?
I'll try, but it's very difficult to step it back when you've reached the high pinnacle.